we made it. This is our final mini lecture. This week we're focusing on substance abuse, alcohol, and their connection to criminal behavior. It's been about 3 decades since Ronald Reagan started the war on drugs, and we've had varying results. We've spent billions of dollars on fighting this war. We've incarcerated many individuals, but yet over 16,000 Americans die each year of overdose. Approximately 8% of the population ages 12 and older have used illicit drugs within the past month. So that begs the question, is this more of a criminal justice issue or a human services issue? Well, the fact of the matter is, it's both. Alcohol currently is the #1 drug of abuse. A 2004 study shows that 11% of juveniles used drugs within the previous month. Juvenile drug use is associated with many negative things, including health issues, poor academic performance, and juvenile delinquency. When we throw out alcohol, marijuana is found to be typically the drug of choice of juveniles, yet synthetics such as K2 and Spice and medication abuse of things such as Oxycontin and Adderall have really been on the increase. 1 in 9 high school students admit to selling drugs within the previous year. Many drug dealers are part of gangs, and not much is known about the gender differences in drug dealing and drug use. When looking at the research findings on illicit drug abuse, we find that more individuals are incarcerated in prisons and jails than any other offense. This has really contributed to overcrowding. Arrestees oftentimes test positive for illicit use, and many offenders were under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of when they committed their offense. Some offenders commit property crimes, robbery among them, to support their illicit drug habit. Drug trafficking oftentimes influences violent crime, and the drug-crime relationship is really, even though it's very profound, is very difficult to identify and measure. So in further looking at the drug-crime relationship, we can break it down into 3 different types of categories of offenses. Psychopharmacologically driven crimes is when an individual ingests a chemical and becomes excitable and irrational and is more likely to demonstrate criminal and violent behavior. Systemic crimes, they arise out of the drug trafficking and distribution of drugs. And economically compulsive crimes is when criminal behavior happens to support a person's expensive drug habit. We can break down major categories of drugs into 4 different types. The hallucinogens or psychedelics include LSD, marijuana, and hashish. Stimulants include methamphetamine, cocaine, crack, psychostimulants such as Adderall and Ritalin. Opiate narcotics include heroin, morphine, and Oxycontin. And sedative hypnotics or depressants include club drugs, benzodiazepines, and alcohol. A controlled substance is any psychoactive drug that's availability is restricted. The Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970 placed all substances of abuse into one of 5 schedules. Schedule 5 drugs are drugs that typically will have a medical use and have a low potential for abuse. Schedule 1 drugs have a high potential of abuse and no accepted medical use. Marijuana is actually a Schedule 1 substance. The federal government finds no medical usage for marijuana, even though many of the states have started to generate laws for the use of medical marijuana. These individuals are still actually breaking the law under the federal statutes. Well, that does it. That's the end of our mini lecture series. We're wrapping up this course in the next couple of weeks. I hope you all do well on your final examination, turn in good quality papers. Most of all, I hope you all learned something from this course. I hope we met the learning outcomes. I hope our paths cross again in the future. But most of all, I hope you are able to take some of the things that you've learned in this course and apply it to help people and to bring criminals to justice. And at the very least, I hope you are able to solve some of those episodes of Law and Order and Criminal Minds a little faster next time.